Hello, Rena.
Hey, Dr. Bach, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Thank you. Same to you and to everyone. Welcome to a free association conversation between Rena K and myself, Dr. Bach Ho. We're both organic intelligence coaches. We help people reduce suffering and increase capacity to handle more in life with ease using the protocols of organic intelligence. You can reach out to Rena to learn more about her OI-informed courses on healing from shame and for individual session work. And you can reach out to me for individual session work. Links in the description to learn more about each of us. In these live stream free association conversations, Rena and I try to aim both at people who are completely new to organic intelligence and people who already know its basics. We try to find the balance. Today, our topic is 6 features of orientation.
Hmm.
Somewhat ironic because my orientation is down a bit. I have a cold, maybe COVID, because my taste and smell are down. So I'm 40% down on orientation already. But here we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that.
thank
Okay.
you, thank you. So for people who are new, orientation is one of the 2 fundamentals of organic intelligence. The 2 fundamentals are orientation and pleasure. These are the 2 fundamentals for optimal healing and growth, according to organic intelligence. And orientation refers to connecting your senses, your 5 senses, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, to the environment. That's orientation. And I recently posted a video where I presented 6 features of orientation, a,
Hmm.
a video on my own.
Hmm.
And then I discussed with Rena, and I thought, let's do that in live stream with each other. So let me share the 6 features in a slide that I have, and I'll talk through, and then we'll Rena and I will free associate from there. So this acronym SWAVN, it's I came up with the acronym. So it's not part of organic intelligence. Orientation is part of organic intelligence, of course. And these 6 features, I they are features of orientation, I found. So the features are part of orientation. It's just the naming and into the acronym, that's something I've thought of and I'm adding.
Hmm.
So we have SWAVEN, SUAVEN, standing for significant, unfocused, automatic, vacation, effortless, and neutral. And I'm going to go through them, I think, superficially and fast because I go through them more slowly in the lone video. I'll go through fast and then maybe just hand it over to you to start the kick to do the free association. So 6 features of orientation. Significant means that the environment is significant to your attention. At least one thing in the environment, perhaps more, is significant to your attention as opposed to the environment seeming unreal, insignificant, distant, detached, dull, not really there. Number 2, unfocused means that if you find the environment significant, that's number 1. But if your eyes are super focused or your attention is super fixated or focused, that's not guard what we're looking for in orientation. Orientation is more your eyes can move around naturally, and even if you find one thing attractive, you could easily move on to something else. Your eyes can move around and unfocus, refocus, unfocus, refocus. You're not fixated on one thing. 3 means automatic, referring to whatever is already happening in orientation. You're already oriented to some degree. You're hearing and seeing right now. You're feeling your chair or bed, or if you're standing, you feel the floor. So there's some automatic orientation already happening. That's 3, automatic. Vacation refers to um, the idea that when you're oriented, it feels or often feels like it's a bit of vacation from interior intensity. So if you have a lot of preoccupation with interior intensity, thoughts, feelings, images, and then you connect to the tree or the sky, it's feeling like, oh, this is a nice respite or vacation from my intensity. That's the vacation part, as opposed to you're looking at your sink, and then oh my God, it's dirty. I never get anything done. Why can't I get anything done? Now I'm sad and ashamed, and that's not vacation. So we're looking more for a vacation quality to orientation. Um, Number five, effortless. It's it refers to I connected it to automatic. So automatic means whatever's happening automatically without effort, which would be effortless. So automatic counts as effortless, but also to the degree you're using any kind of choice, like I'm going to move my eyes from the sky to the tree and the tree to my trash can, from my trash can to the tissue box. I'm the movement itself is effortless. My attention can easily move around with little effort, even if I'm using volition, even if it's not automatic because I'm using some choice, it's easy and effortless to do so. And finally, N neutral means that my overall experience is neutral. It's not intense pleasure or pain. So it is significant. So, oh, the sky is significant. Maybe it's somewhat pleasant. The tree, or maybe if I look at a garbage can, it's somewhat unpleasant. So maybe there's some significance here. There's significance for sure, but at the same time, overall, it's a neutral experience as opposed to gotta find my car keys or the world will end or I lost my phone. Where is it? It's overall a neutral experience.
Hmm.
So that's Suaven. Half apologies if I spoke too quickly. I'm just going on what's easiest for me, which is to speak at my speed. But that's Suaven in a nutshell. May I hand it to you, Rena, to start however you
Yeah.
like? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically new to me. So I'm kind of mostly having just an initial response to it, right? A couple things that I really like this whole idea of significance, right? That I think that's helpful. It seems like a helpful word. Um, so sometimes, we talk about connecting to the environment and connection means like, there's some way that the environment is having an influence on you as you're observing the environment. There's some significance to what you're observing, which is very different than, a mile long stare or kind of like, sometimes when people start if they don't feel connected to the experience, it's like, oh yeah, there's that, yeah, that, right? Like it's kind of got a almost like a rote feeling to it, as opposed to the idea, and we're mostly you've been talking in the visual field, but it's not limited to that. There's more of a noticing how the eyes are moving in a way that allows them to notice something that is neutral, pleasant, interesting, has some curiosity around it. So to me, the idea of significant is like, oh yeah, there's some interest in it. I don't know if that's similar to what you were thinking
Yeah,
of, but that's what it kind of evokes for me.
I um thank you. So I let me show both of us on screen again. Maybe I'll flip back and forth between the slideshow or the slide and us. But yeah, thank you for commenting on significance. Yes, originally I had it as salient.
Hmm.
And the reason for salient was this. It's a little technical, but when I was thinking through organic intelligence stuff with Steve and writing stuff, the salience network was in his mind and thus in my mind because we're writing, and then what you find salient, what your attention finds salient. So initially put salient, and then I looked up. I feel like this is just dry, unimportant stuff, but since I'm on it, uh, I I um I looked up what salient meant in just the normal definition, and some of the definitions said it's what's most important. And I thought, well, I don't want to necessarily commit to saying that the environment is the most important thing to your attention. So I changed salient to this has a feeling of who cares about your trivia, about your history block and thinking about this, but I'm just here. So I changed it from salient to significant. I think in the ebook I wrote, the $1 essay, I put salient, but I've changed it now to significant so as not to imply that the environment has to be the most important thing to your attention. So it may be I'm in thinking, I'm in feeling, I'm in images, and then oh, the tree, it's significant to me. It's not the most important thing. Maybe the most important thing is where's my life going? But but at least there's some significance.
Mhm.
So
Right.
there's some interest. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost like there it's a way like like what you described there is almost like it almost like catches your attention, right? It's almost like
Mm.
there's something about the quality that is like, oh yeah, there that is, right? And there's that noticing of its existence, whether it be the tree or a certain color or that kind of thing. So there's the noticing, and it somehow has meaning to you, like so when I think about significance, when
Yeah.
I look at, like when let's say I'm just orienting into my space, right? And I'm just letting my eyes go where they want to go. And, one moment it picks up, this cute little guy that I have there. And then another moment it picks up this pretty picture. And I never know which one it's going to be. Like which is going to catch my attention today, which is going to feel significant today and in this moment because it depends on what is feeling significant in the moment.
Yes. And other formulations that I had in mind were the environment is real to you or feels real to you. It was is real or feels real. I use both sometimes. That okay, your eyes are open. And yes, you can use all five senses, but I just default to seeing because it's easy. And most people it's easy for most people. So my eyes are open. Does the environment seem real to you or feel real to you as opposed to unreal?
Hmm.
And examples are your attention is very inward, so even if your eyes are open, the environment may not feel that real to you or significant or salient.
Yeah.
Other examples like someone's let's say someone is quitting smoking and then they eat a salad and oh, the tomato was real to me, more real than before. I tasted tomato. So the environment becomes more real, and I decided on the word significant as the best
Yeah.
term.
How do you like the word, like the one word that's coming to me is like just available. Like it's almost like it's available. Like sometimes if you can't notice it, you can't pay attention if it's not real, in your awareness, it's almost like you don't have actually even access to it. Like it's just there's so many words that I'm thinking of that aren't significant at this moment. Connected to that. But to me, as we're talking, it just is like, oh yeah, these are elements of what we're doing in this process. And to me, this is the most of your words. Significant is the most salient
No, no,
is
yeah, that's,
the
yeah.
one that has the most weight to it to me in terms of, as we explore this.
Thank you. And thank you for saying that. And uh you said I wanted to you had the formula you had the word available, and I like that too. So you could think, is the environment available to my attention? I think one importance of the word exploration we're doing is different words may be helpful to different people, right? So significant, salient, real to you, the environment being significant to you, salient to you, real to you, available to you. So okay, so that's nice. So what is the environment available to me right now to my attention, or is my attention just hostage by the interior? Is it
Right,
available?
right.
Is the sky available? Is the wall available? Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because exactly when we're so often in these, especially if it's unpleasant, but it can be pleasant too, but in these unpleasant interior states, we may not notice the things that are going on around us. Like all kinds of things can be happening, and we're oblivious to it in the moment. And in which case it's, you know, what's going on interiorly is capturing the attention so much so that what's outside of us is not significant compared to what's
Yes.
inside, right? And
Yes.
so I get why you have chosen that word as part of the features.
Thank you. Um, I appreciate that very much. And I wanted to talk about significance in conjunction now with unfocused. So if we go back to the slide, so the unfocused means that your attention is not focused in a fixated way on the environment, because that would indicate less, that's getting away from orientation. So for example, if you're at a party and there's a really good looking person and you're very attracted and your eyes are just locked on them, and so your attention is on the environment. I mean, your attention is on the gorgeous person, and it's super focused. So it's salient, right? The most salient thing is that gorgeous person, hyper significant. You're hyper focused. That wouldn't be orientation as much, because orientation would be you're able to move your eyes more or less effortlessly to the ugliest person, or the trash can, or the tree outside, or the hors d'oeuvres. You may have a preference, so the good looking person may be significant to you, but it wouldn't be salient in a fixated way. And if it has that focused, fixated quality, that indicates that the attention is actually driven by the interior, as opposed to relaxed connection to the environment. So this may be a distinction that I'm trying to parse out. So if you're fixated on that person, um, it may be because your internal intensity, your sensations, your feelings, your thoughts are super intense, and that so your looking at that person is an aspect of the interior intensity that's hostage the attention, as
Mm.
opposed to the attention can get away from the interior intensity and reside in the environment, which is not hostaging the attention. The environment is not hostaging the attention. At the same time, the environment is significant to the attention.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
And the words that are also coming to me is you're not seeing something to the exclusion of everything else that's in the environment. So when we get fixated, we're actually beginning to narrow the visual field, literally, and we start excluding what's else might be around in the environment.
Mm.
And yeah.
I I had a further thought here. Um, so you just said one aspect, the unfocused includes your eyes can move around to something else. It's not fixated on one thing. Um I just thought of how at and another possibility is when you orient, like let's say I go to a tree, maybe my attention finds the tree interesting, and so I my attention stays on it, but I'm not fixated in that intense sense. And as orient to the tree, I may notice more details,
Mm.
the branches, the
Mm.
leaves. So in a sense, I'm focused on the tree. And as I focus, this is an often meditation practice, right? Meditation object, as you focus on something, you appreciate more detail. That could be orientation. I mean, definitely. You're seeing more of the tree. It's more significant to you as you look at the different leaves, which is still different from the fixated focus
Which you're
of
talking
right,
about is
right.
linking
Yeah.
to the interior state.
Yeah. So I think so in the second feature, the unfocused, I initially described it as your eyes could move away more or less easily. I think that's still true. So if
Mm.
your eyes can't move away easily, that's a sign of it's not unfocused. At the same time, another sign could also be you can easily focus you can easily connect to the current object and orient to it more, even
More
while
fully.
more fully,
Yeah.
even while being able easily to move away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. There's a different quality between the curiosity and interest that drives wanting to notice more details and take in more because there's going back to what's significant. Well, if I'm looking at the pine cone and I just see it as a whole pine cone, that's one thing. But then when I start going into the details and how the patterning of the seeds and the structure is like, oh wow, that there's something more to it. It's more interesting in some ways. It has more significance to it. And yet that would be in some ways you can say you're paying more attention to it. And that way you're more focused on it. But I think you're talking about the difference between being driven by the internal state of some kind of interior kinds of element, images, meaning, sensation, those kinds of things, versus being driven by the object and the interest of the
Oh,
object. And so, like, almost like the things in our environment can draw us out to meet them or connect with them, which is very different than when there's something that and you've given the example of a person, or we can do this with anything, that you all of a sudden get so fixated on it that you actually probably gets more to, you lose number one. You lose significance, because as you get more and more hyper focused, you're going to get more and more internal, and then you're going to lose the overall significance that's coming from that.
Yeah, I have there's too much in my brain as usual, Rena. The distinction that I drew and that you reaffirmed between, is your attention being driven by interior or is it being driven by the environment? And the former would mean less orientation, the latter would mean more orientation. That makes sense. In a certain way, it makes sense to me. And and as you were speaking, I had the thought, but why is that a distinction at all? Because if your attention is moving to the environment, that is interior intensity moving it there. And furthermore, all experience technically is internal. But I, oh man, I think there's too many units for my brain. But okay, all experience is experience. So if you have an emotion, it's inside your experience. If you're looking at a tree, the tree is outside your experience, of course, but the seeing is part of your experience. So all experience is in some sense internal. And the point I just made about that the point I just made may be totally unimportant, because when we say internal, we mean just the tendency of the attention to go to the thought, the feeling, or the image rather than to the environment. Sorry,
Right.
I'm groping as I speak. Sorry.
No, I
And
think that's good, because I think
okay,
what you're talking about is the difference between the attention being in the internal space such that the environment, the external environment, loses significance.
right,
Right.
right.
And that's when either we're fixated or we aren't oriented, is because we lose any awareness of the fact that there is an external environment, because we're so tuned
Yeah,
into what's happening in terms of our images and our internal sensations and our emotions
yeah.
and whatnot, right?
Um, yes, yes. Thank you. And with unfocused, the second feature, I want to share a little bit more about what I was thinking about when I came up with it and other formulations. In my description of it in that loan video, I believe I said another way to understand unfocused is that you can easily focus and unfocus and change focuses. I also put it as you have control over focus.
Mm,
So you can focus on the tree, you can focus on the garbage can, you can focus open awareness, you can focus on a narrow thing, and you don't have to be focused. So some people operate in life where they have to be doing something with their mind. I have to focus on, now I'm doing my work. Okay, now it's time for my solitaire break, but I'm playing solitaire, and now it's time for but whatever is happening, they have to be focused on something. It's just moving from focus this, now focus on this, now focus on this. And it's important here that orientation to emphasize is unfocused. You can unfocus.
mm,
You
mm,
can unfocus and let go of the reins a bit and let your attention reside in the environment. So you could put two as you have control over focus.
mm.
You could put two as you can easily move from focused to unfocused. And I decided to say unfocused to emphasize what I think is the remedial necessity in many cases for many people, which is, can you unfocus and be unfocused,
Yeah,
which would be
fair enough.
evidenced by easy connection to the environment, which is significant.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Uh, do you have more on popping up, or I have more, but it's going to be like more.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking let's look at automatic. I think that's a
Yeah.
good one, because that came up in with some people I was working with today. So you want to say something again first about that? Like your formulation of what you meant
Yeah.
by automatic?
Well, automatic just means it doesn't require any volition, no
Yeah,
choice. So
yeah,
once you eat an apple, you're digesting it automatically.
yeah,
And I felt it was important to include, because often it helps me in living life. Oh, even if I'm stressed, I am seeing stuff. It's automatic. And so there's always, the orientation is always there to some
yeah,
degree. It's automatic.
yeah, yeah.
And
What
to,
what
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, and
Well,
to,
what?
What's automatic? Sorry. Go ahead. You speak.
I should say what came up in some people I was talking to today is and the way I've often formulated when I'm kind of doing a guided practice or I'm inviting people into the practice of orientation, which is, like you said, kind of some of the remedial work that we do to get it, established in the system automatically. But some of the languaging I use is how the environment comes to you, like the sense of seeing comes to you or hearing. People can usually do that easily with hearing, but the seeing, oftentimes they feel like they're going out to try to see the things, right? And that gets people kind of stuck as they're practicing orientation because it feels like it's this efforted thing, getting to number five, effortless. But when I language it like, oh, notice how the environment is contacting you or coming to you. It's just a slight shift, mostly in languaging, but also in how people are experiencing it. The difference is, oh, I'm volitionally making myself see, and that's not orientation, as opposed to the automatic allowance of what's coming into your senses from your environment. And there's a slight distinction there that I think helps when people are in this process, when that shift happens into the automatic.
I think the perspective of the environment coming to you is a nice second perspective. So it could help in your orientation practice. My eyes are connecting to the environment, and also the environment is coming to my eyes. You may find both perspectives helpful. You might find one perspective more helpful than another at different at a certain time. And automatic associate you had an association to that second perspective of the environment will come to you. It's coming to you right now. I mean, the environment's coming into my eyes and my ears and my tactile, my skin right now. It's a lot of it is automatic, like digestion. And I analogize it to digestion in part to indicate you don't have to do much. Well, you can't do anything about the automaticity. It's just it's coming to you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the attention that you end up doing something about,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And which is so in the acronym in the quote unquote true acronym that was a weird true was a I chose the acronym is SWAVN because the ordering makes a nice word, SWAVN. Like, and if you get rid of N, you have SWAV. But the acronym in terms of logical ordering was a really weird, ugly acronym, so I didn't put it that way. But in the ugly one, the effortless came after automatic because it's so tight. So by automatic, I mean what happens automatically without volition, and then effortless, which came next in the ugly acronym, was um, to the degree you are using volition, it's effortless. So I'm automatically seeing the sky, and then I have a thought, oh, I hope I don't, I hope my cold doesn't get worse. Now, how effortless or easy would it be for me to use my volition to reconnect to the environment? The more effortless, the more I'm oriented. So effortless includes automatic and includes the how effortless the volitional act is to connect to the environment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally makes sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there is just as an example, I was with a group of people and invited, we were just learning a little bit about orientation, invited to orientation, and the person is like, oh, just before you did that, I happened to look in my calendar and noticed I was supposed to be in a meeting right after this, and I forgot. I forgot that I have a meeting right after this, and I haven't planned my day. I haven't planned my lunch. I haven't planned,
Mm.
how I'm going to get, my kids' lunch. I'm not, like all these things. I haven't planned these things, and so in the moment there is a little uptick, like, oh shoot, I got to do this, right? Like so there is this activation of their energy, and the person was like, oh, and what if I can shift my attention anyways and let me notice the birds, the dog, the color. And the person was able to make that switch. That effortless quality tells us there's a certain level of orientation already on board in general. They're in a more oriented state. because of how effortless it was to go, okay, that thing that I'm all of a sudden stressed about, I can put that aside. I can turn my attention. I can do this now. And it wasn't hard to make themselves do it because you don't want the process to be hard. If it's efforted, if you're working really hard to quote unquote orient or practice orientation, that's not the time to be doing it. Like in essence, you want to let it go until it is a more effortless process.
Thank you. And I'm going to be abrupt. We have to end on time today, so we don't have time to finish the acronym or do a smooth transition out, too smooth. But we do have to end on time on today. So, uh, Rena and I will discuss what's next. Maybe finish the discussion. Maybe something else. We'll see. But thank you everyone for listening. I hope you got something from the six features here. And last words, Rena, before we have to
Oh
end.
no, I don't have any last words other than if anything like tickled you and you want to learn more, certainly you can learn more through Bach's channel. You can learn more with me. You can go to Organic Intelligence website and go to YouTube. Steve's got orientation videos there. Try it out and see what happens.
See what happens. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you next time, Rena.
Sounds good.